Welcome back to State of the Nation. Data is still coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms. Tweet at Gimba Omar CTV and use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts on the subject. Now, the judiciary has been faced with one of the greatest controversies of corruption in the history of the country. The president is determined to fix the problems there. He has appointed an acting Chief Justice of Nigeria in the person of Walter Onogen. Ebun Adeborua, a legal practitioner, joins me via Skype to talk about this. Many thanks indeed for coming on the show at this time. What do you make of the appointment of Walter Onogen as the CJN?
Yes, I must congratulate His Lordship, the Honorable Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Walter Onogen. But more, I must also congratulate the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, the Honorable Justice Mahmoud Mohammed. He was a courageous man. He struck us as a very eminent jurist who stood courageously to defend the judiciary and assert the independence of the judiciary. And I think that's where Justice Onogen should start from. To continue on that proud slate, to continue to stand tall, to defend the judiciary against blackmail, defend the judiciary against intimidation and harassment. It is very crucial for Justice Walter Onogen to stand tall and ensure that the judiciary is not carpeted by any other arm of government, be it the executive or the legislature. But I think that there are great challenges facing His Lordship within the judiciary presently. And of course, the first of all is that of judicial autonomy. We've been battling the executive for many decades now to free the judiciary from the cocoon of the executive, especially financial autonomy. Mr. Olusegun SAN, former president of NBA, went to court and won a case. The Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSU, went to court and won a case. And many states are refusing to obey these courts' judgments by giving financial autonomy to the judiciary. You need to go through our court system. I have investigated. I discovered that the last time salary of judges was increased in Lagos State was 2007. No judge in Lagos State collects salary at the end of the month. They collect on the 15th or the 18th. And we go to the same market. So before we talk corruption, before we start to say that judges are corrupt, let us look at the conditions under which they are operating, because they are human beings. I went to court one day in Lagos here. A judge told us in open court that he was held up in traffic in Ikorodu Road because he was still living in his own personal house. So he had to come down from his car and climb onto an Okada to be able to make the court. A judge of the High Court of Lagos State. And this happens. I know a judge in Lagos State that is driving himself to court every day. So I think that His Lordship must look within the issue of welfare of judicial officers to assert financial autonomy. Secondly, is that the delay within the appellate jurisdiction is becoming embarrassing. The Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court have become the graveyard of litigation in Nigeria. I have over 26 appeals pending in the legal division of the Court of Appeal. I have cases in the Supreme Court that were filed in 2006. And
If I may just come in there, my apologies. You know very well the reason why Mr. President has decided to appoint Justice Walter Onogen as the CJN to curtail corruption, that is, which the president desperately wants. Do you think that this will be achieved in this administration, considering the number of cases being brandished in courtrooms today? So many indeed. In 2015 to 2016, over 1,500 of them.
Well, I believe I can hear you. The solution to avoiding corruption within the judiciary is, first of all, to take care of the welfare of judicial officers. Then secondly, to allow a flow of litigation so as to eliminate the undue pressure that litigants find themselves. Politicians have rescued themselves by amending the Constitution to ensure that their own cases are heard within 180 days, election petitions and cases involving public office holders. That is not a solution. The solution is to ensure that we have more judges especially in the Supreme Court. Let there be at least 3 panels sitting every day to clear the backlog. But honestly, I believe that the battle against corruption within judiciary can be fought and won even by members of the bar and the bench. Once we have been able to catch a judge or a lawyer who has gone overboard to use his position to influence judgments contrary to the established norm, we should use them as scapegoat and send them to jail. I accept that wholeheartedly. But that must be done by the judiciary itself, not under the dictate of the executive or under the influence of Gestapo operations and sting operations. That will not work at all. But the judiciary must cleanse itself of every corrupt element. That cannot be tolerated at all in any way.
Why did it have to take the intervention of the executive to wade into the judicial system in Nigeria before you recognize that there is a problem there? Why did it take so long?
Well, I think that you must notice that we have a peculiar situation. The people who are ruling us at the realm of power, at the executive, are not trained in the way of due process and the rule of law. These are people who emerge from the barracks. These are people who have been retired generals and colonels, so they are not used to our own way of democratic settings, of going through due process, and they are impatient. But their operation has helped us within the judiciary. This sting operation has woken up the NJC and indeed judges and lawyers to the corruption and the malice within the judicial sector, and we are glad for that. But having done that now, we should ensure that everything is done according to due process. It is this executive that is unique that came up with this sting operation, what otherwise we have not experienced in this country. And we insist that we must do things according to democratic balance, according to democratic setting, following the established rule that is stipulated in all our laws. Having done this sting operation, they should allow judiciary independence and autonomy to cleanse itself of corrupt elements. We support that 100%. But it will not be done from Aso Villa, it will not be done from the National Assembly, it will be done by the judiciary and for the judiciary and the interests of Nigeria.
In closing this interview, what do you think about the arrested judges? Will the new CJN be able to take further steps to try to get these cases sorted out?
Well, I believe that the case of the judges that have been arrested is been arrested for now, in the sense that we have seen that there are attempts to file criminal charges against them in court. That's the way it should be. We shouldn't ask judges to step down based upon allegations and sting operation. But once there's a prima facie case that has been established through filing of criminal charges against a particular judicial officer, at that point, it will not be out of place, either for the Nigerian Bar Association or indeed the National Judicial Council or the people of Nigeria to ask such judicial officers to step down while they establish their guilt or their innocence. But without a criminal charge, it will have been difficult to ask any judge to step aside. So our appeal to the Honorable Justice Walter Onongen in this regard is very simple. The long arm of the law should be stretched far and wide to cover all the dragnets within the judiciary, so that both judges and lawyers who are found to be culpable are openly and transparently dealt with to the satisfaction of everybody. The new National Judicial Code that has been launched by the former CJN should not just be a paperwork. It should be implemented to the letter.
Ebona Deboa, a legal practitioner speaking to us from Lagos Island. Many thanks indeed for talking to us on State of the Nation. We would have been shifting focus now, but for lack of time, just to inform you though that in the northeast of Nigeria, Boko Haram has carried out attempted attacks. 3 ladies were brought down by the Operation Lafia Dole, theater commander Operation Lafia Dole. We cannot be with him at this time, but just to let you know that they are indeed working round the clock to prevent crime in the northeast, and that's how the story goes. I want to thank you so much indeed for being a part of the show. It's State of the Nation. I'm Gimba Omar. Join me again another time. Bye for now.